Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. This is, everyone I think probably knows this this riff when they recognise it. It's a lot simpler than what you probably realise until you look at it. Look through the guidance. There's really not much guidance to it, but we'll see what we can learn. This riff is an essential riff for all new players. It's a simple one to get under your fingers, and with it being all laid out on a single string. Everything I played was on the A string, the 5th string. It's great for building your accuracy when moving across the fretboard across a larger area. So what's that saying? I've talked a lot about trying to keep in position where possible, so my hand's not going all over like this. This particular riff, forget about position. One of the keys to the riff, and one of the great the things that we're exercising, is a little bit of accuracy when moving up and down. So the first 4 notes of the riff, I'm actually in position. I'm in position 7 there. I don't have to move, but from there onwards, I'm moving my hand down the guitar using my first finger to play the notes. So there's no way I can stay in position to do this. I have to move my hand. So it's great. It's a great practice to be able to get used to playing notes all the way up and down the fretboard. The best test of accuracy when finding notes is shifting from the 2nd fret back up to the 7th fret. Mastering the skill of moving easily around a string on the guitar is an essential skill for beginner players. That's true when I'm going down the riff, so I'm starting off in position 7. Then I'm going down. I'm only actually going down a couple of frets at a time, so I'm going 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. So they're all quite reasonable steps. I've got a couple of 2 fret steps and then just down a single fret between 3 and 2. What it's talking about there is on the turnaround on the final note when I end on the 2. That's my ending note. From there I need to get back up with this same first finger to the 7th fret. So I've got to be accurate in moving this finger from here to here and get the correct note without playing one of the ones beside it. So I want to go from, I don't want to go 4. It's got to be 2 to 7. So it's a very fun riff to learn, and you can approach this with a single finger or multiple fingers for the fretted notes. Again, it's saying you can do it with a single finger. Don't see why you would. It's making unnecessary work. On the start of the riff, it's worth just because you're in position. If you do it single finger, I've got a bit of extra work that I don't need to do. Do it either way or whichever way you're comfortable with. The only other thing I'm going to mention is when you look at the music, look at the tab for this particular piece on as it's transcribed here. It's you've got like a little dashed line, looks a bit like Morse code, going across the very top of the tablature, and it says PM. So that's not Prime Minister or anything like that. What it stands for is palm mute. So this is probably something I'll do another video on, because it's a technique all to itself. But I'm using the palm of my hand, my picking hand, this bit here, and I'm just resting it very lightly at the very edge of where my strings meet the bridge, and that gives me that sort of dulled, sort of dampened sound. Imagine a piano with a damping pedal on it, rather than the string ringing out really loud and clear. It's just taking a little bit of the hit off the string. It is quite, again, it's quite one of those techniques that requires a little bit of practice before you can do it confidently, because I've played a lot of heavy metal and rock music. It relies on a lot of palm muting techniques, so it comes reasonably straightforward to me. But if you've not done it before, it's just a little. The knack of it is to get just the right amount of muting. So as an example, if I'll just play my open air string without anything on, and I'll just play it without any muting. On the other hand, I'm going to go really stupid, super muting, more than probably what I'd ever use, and pick the same note. What I'm aiming for in this is somewhere in between, so I'm muting a little bit of the note, but not killing it completely. Perhaps one way that you might want to, again I'll do a video on this, but perhaps one way that you might want to try and work on the technique is, again, just using your A string as an example. So I'm gonna rest my palm down and make that dull sort of almost percussion clicky sound, not even a note. And if I move my hand, my picking hand, just slightly back and forward, up and down the direction of the neck, until I can hear the sort of note that I want to get. So I'm going to start with until I've got the full note ringing, and then I can go back. It's slightly different on different guitars, the ways the bridges are designed and things like that. You know, how much fat you've got on the back of your hand, different for everybody. It is a knack that you're going to have to get. But to play the same riff without any damping whatsoever, play it with the over-the-top damping. So we want to be somewhere in between there. It's, as I say, it's a knack that takes experience and just practice to get it right. So somewhere a little bit more there. You can hear it when it sounds like it should do. Finally, about the damping, I'm using if it's electric guitar, I'm using a distorted sound, which it does help with the damping effect. You won't get quite the same effect on acoustic guitar, or if you've not got the sound set up quite right. So it's predominantly, the damping technique is more, I would say, of an electric guitar technique, but regardless, it's a good little technique to have a practice with, and this song's a great excuse to do it.